Citrine has always been a fairly immobile frame, mainly because of her third ability, which creates a crystal turret that shoots at enemies you are shooting at as well. Now, while you could just choose to not use the crystal and run around like a madman or madwoman, I'd argue that it's an integral part of her toolkit, it's one of her better abilities, and honestly, it's just too good to pass up. So the way you would play Citrine most of the time is you would plop down your crystal and then just camp around the crystal. That is no longer the case, however, thanks to her new augment called Prismatic Companion. This passively increases your prismatic gem duration by 50%, but more importantly, attaches the crystal to your free-moving companion. This is honestly amazing, especially in combination with her second augment, Recrystallize. This is for her fourth ability, Crystallize, and it makes the red crit crystals spread on death. These two augments, more specifically the Prismatic Companion one, remove any sort of mobility restrictions from Citrine. And it feels oh so good, on top of pumping out absolutely unbelievable amounts of damage. Now, when it comes to building Citrine, there are kind of like two main ways to do it. You can either go the Health Orb route, which synergizes with her passive and run things like Health Conversion, Equilibrium, and Arcane Blessing. Or you can do what I did and go the Archon route, which really squeezes the absolute maximum out of Prismatic Gem. For this build, we have Energy Siphon as the aura, though it's mostly as a backup because we also run Archon Stretch and trigger it constantly, so you can easily swap the aura for something else. The same goes for the Exiles, by the way. Power Drift is nice to have because it gives you a bit of extra power strength, but we don't necessarily need it, so you can easily swap it out for something else or just leave it blank. Now onto the actual mods. We have Archon Vitality for health and double heat procs from our Prismatic Crystal, Archon Stretch for range but also a ton of energy generation when we proc electricity with the Prismatic Crystal, and Archon Continuity, which gives us duration and makes it so that whenever we proc Toxin with the crystal, it also applies Corrosive. This build is actually kinda crazy when it comes to proccing status. It's like a super primer that does ridiculous damage because we have the 4 basic elements coming from the crystal, then you have whatever you mod your weapon with, and I've also subsumed Nourish over our first ability, so we get Vital as well. But anyway, we followed that up with Intensify for a bit of extra strength, Streamline for some efficiency because the build can be somewhat power hungry, especially at the start when you're getting everything going. And then we have a bit of a flex slot, which I filled with Augur Reach because I like having a lot of range. However, since it is a flex slot, you can easily take it out and replace it with something else. To top it all off, we run both the augments, of course, so Recrystallize and Prismatic Companion, and as far as Arcanes go, we run Moto Augmented for a ton of strength, and for the second one, I went with Arcane Nullifier because I hate magnetic procs on casters. Now, because we're not doing the Health Orb route, I chose to run 2 Azure Shards for health regeneration because we don't get that much from her passive. And then I went 3 red for additional duration, but this is very much a personal preference. I like having more duration because I don't like to constantly cycle my abilities. So if you'd rather run something else, feel free to do so. And let us also not forget about the free moving companion to which we will attach our crystal. Iron Hound, Good Boy Harold, the procs Code, Vital, Puncture, Heat, Impact, Radiation, and Magnetic. This setup is honestly kind of wild. It procs almost every status effect in the game against everything all the time without even trying. It just kind of happens. And while it's going to be pretty nuts with almost every weapon in the game, it's particularly good for weapons that utilize either condition or condition overload. It's also very tanky and it can make any weapon crit because the crystals you grow on enemies from your fourth ability have a set crit chance taken at 300%, so anything that hits the crystal is going to red crit. So constant red crits, immaculate priming, and very, very good defense, with basically no downside. The build also feels great, there's almost no friction here. As soon as you pop your crystal and start proccing stuff, all the Archon mods kick in and you just go. So I would very much recommend you give this setup a shot and see if you like it. It's also, thanks to its many different damage types, very effective against all the factions in the game. It doesn't matter if they have armor, shields, or just health. And that is pretty much all I have for you today, so I thank you very much for watching, as always guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time, bye bye.